I'm so glad you said that, Marcy, because I'd forgotten to turn on my audio. Oh, dearie me. I was here early and I missed the most important thing, which is to actually have some sound going. So I do apologise. So welcome if you've just joined us. Welcome, everybody. My name is Pip Todman and I run queenpipcards.com and the Card Making Know-How Academy. And I'm very glad that you're with us today. And thank you, Marcy, for reminding me I needed to turn on my audio. Okay, so the reason why I've had my audio off is because I've been filming for the last 2 weeks, but because of my cold, my voice has been dreadful. So I've just been filming and I'm going to just do voiceovers. So I turned my sound off. So there you go. There's always something with me, right? Oh dear. Okay, so let's go hands down and then I can explain to you what we're going to be using. So I've got my colours. You might want some ink. I've got 2 punches with me, my 2" and my 2¼ inch. Okay, 2 circle punches. I've got a stamp set. I'm giving you a sneak peek. So this is a new stamp set that's coming in May. It's not here yet. So you'll have to wait for it. And then, as I said, I've got some layers and some bits and pieces that we're going to be looking at using. And I'm going to be sharing with you today 2 techniques for adding texture or background to a card, something to make it feel like it's a little bit more than just a flat card. So I'm going to go with the, as I say, 2 techniques. So we're going to be making 2 cards. So if you're here and you're enjoying yourself, then please make sure that you say hello. If you're new to me today, then don't forget you can sign up. If you're a new card maker, you can sign up just at the here, what's on the bottom of the screen. That will get you onto my email list so that you can get my handy hints emails, which I send out every week. And if you are already on my email list, but you want to come and join the membership, then you can come and join it at cardmakingknowhow.com. It's very simple. Okay, so let's look at some very simple ways. So I've got here some elements which we're going to be putting together into a card. So I've got my card base, just very easy as such. Then I've got a layer, and then I've got some background paper. Now, background paper in and of itself provides texture and depth to a card. I need to chop this bit down, but it doesn't provide texture. It provides the look of texture, so sometimes that can be seen as almost as good as texture, but it doesn't actually provide any physical texture. So it provides visual texture, but not physical texture. Okay, Marcy, I hope you are now hearing me and that everything's okay. Let me know if it isn't. And everyone else, let me know if you're there and having a wonderful time. Okay, so what I thought was we would create some physical texture. Now, if you've got a cut and emboss machine, die cutting machine, Gemini, whatever, any of those things, you can create texture easily using embossing folders. But what if you are new? Oh, okay. Sally says bit. And then Marcy says sound is good. Okay, good. All right, so that's cool. But what if you don't have an embossing machine? What if you don't have any of the fancy gadgets? Well, there's something very simple that you can do to create texture using a piece of card. And that is that you can just scrunch it up. And I can almost hear you go across the miles as you're like, what is she doing? Oh my goodness, what has she done? But actually, it's a very, very simple way of creating easy texture for a background just by crumpling up your piece of paper. So we're going to now flatten that out. And you can flatten it out in a lot of ways, but a really simple one is just to add glue and stick it down, because the glue will help it stick to the card and flatten it. And what you want to do is you want to get it back flat so that you can add stuff to it. So we're going to be just popping this down. And yes, it's got tears in it. Yes, it looks awful because you might think, oh my goodness, it looks dreadful. But actually, when you flatten that, and we can get that straight, and you can use something heavy, you know, like a punch. Punches are great for this. It's really good to add a bit of weight behind you just to flatten things out. Ah, Sally meant she was a bit late. Okay, hello. and this has got a little bit of a tear in it, but that doesn't matter. So now what you've done is you've created a texture on your background. Now, it's a bit ragged, but you know, we can sort that out by putting some flat stuff on top of it. I think my glue's about to run out, so that'll be interesting because I don't think I've actually got any more left. And then we can just add our paper on top of that, like so. So now we're adding a little bit of flatness to it. So it just takes away a little bit from how much creasing's going on in the background. So it makes it look a little bit more okay, like it was supposed to happen. Hi Rose, lovely to see you. Okay, so now, see now, we've got some texture in the background, some pretty paper, and all I did was scrunch up a piece of card. It's a bit of a scary thing to do. This bit's sticking up a bit, so if you want to just get that down, just add some more glue and hold it. It is a bit scary because we're not used to doing that with our cardstock. It's yeah, it does take a bit of getting used to, but it works, right? Okay, so that's that. Nicely glued down, and then everything else on top of that you can just do as normal. So I've got myself a little sentiment here. I'm going to need my dimensionals. Get my dimensionals out. Okay, so this is just nested essential dies with some nice words on top. These are all from the Meadow Garden. Okay, so pop that down. This also adds texture because now we've added some height to the whole shenanigans. Okay, so we've got some height. I'm going to put some flowers down here, and then we'll just attach some welly boots on here as well. This is a great card for somebody who is a gardener, avid gardener. Okay, just add some welly boots. Bottom there, and then these ones I will add with my smaller dimensionals. How's everybody doing anyway? Good, I hope. Spring has certainly sprung here, so we've got beautiful blue skies, gorgeous weather, so that's very nice. Went outside just a t-shirt and a jumper yesterday, or not a jumper even, just like a it's kind of a jacket. It's not even a hoodie, but it's that kind of a, you know, jersey jacket, that kind of thing. Yesterday, which was lovely. And then I'm going to pop a little watering can up here on this side. Now this is going to be a bit trickier to stick because the handle's just going to waft around, but you know, we can cope with that. We can cope with that. Okay. So there we go. So now it's quite, now once we've put all our other bits on, it's actually quite what's the word I'm looking for? Delicate? It's not really delicate, but it's not in your face anymore, that whole scrunching off of the cardstock, which it really was when it first started. But now we've added on these other bits, it's sort of faded into the background, but it's still there. You can still feel it when you run your finger over the card. And that's the nice thing about texture, is it just adds that extra bit of tactileness to a card. And anybody can do this, right? Anyone can make that, because all it is crunching up a piece of cardstock. Now there are other things that you can crunch as well. So let me get this. This is one of my, this is one of the, it's actually the Halloween workshop that is part of, it's a workshop kit. So it's a workshop kit for Halloween, and it's like, it comes as a big pack like this, so it's got bits and pieces in it and whole layouts and stuff like that in it, and it's got designer series paper and all that kind of stuff, and this is the Halloween version, and it's on the clearance at the moment. Here we go, this is what it is. It's a Halloween memories kit. That's what I wanted to call it. So this is available on the clearance at the moment because obviously Halloween has gone. But it has in it some paper, which is, they call it cardstock. I personally, I wouldn't call it cardstock, but they call it two-tone cardstock. And you're going to see a lot more of this coming because Stampin' Up! Will be releasing, I think every colour that we have is going to be released in two-tone cardstock. And you can kind of see that it's just a slightly different tone on the front and the back. But I wouldn't call it cardstock because it's definitely not thick enough to make a card out of. I think it's more like paper. So I think I'm going to call it paper, but it is called two-tone cardstock in the catalogue and online. So just be aware of that. But this you can use differently again. So I'm just going to take this, chop a bit off, and I'll show you how this is also quite good for adding layers because it's not quite as thick. So it's not quite as thick as cardstock. And it should work if I just scrunch it. Let's just scrunch it again. Again, it's easier to scrunch because it's paper, not cardstock. And it depends on how, you've got to be quite, you need to break some of these fibres. See how we go. And then you can take like a little, where's my, grab an emery board, something like that, nail file, whatever. And if you just go over, sorry, that's going to make some people feel like nails down a blackboard, I apologise. But if you just do that, can you see there's white coming through? Now that would not happen on our normal cardstock, but this is white core cardstock, okay? So if you tear it, it has a white centre, okay? Which means that when you do this technique of scrunching, sometimes it'll tear and you can see the white come through, like so. But if you want to bring the white out, you can just run a nail file over it. And where it's you know, all scrunched up, you're going to get those edges, and you can just be quite directional. If that's what I'm trying to say. You can be quite intentional about where you do that rubbing, and then you can see the white come through. So then you just glue it down exactly the same way as I did with this one, but then you would have the extra texture of having a bit of white showing through the creases, which you don't get with our normal cardstock, because our normal cardstock is solid all the way through. So this is fresh freesia all the way through, but it's got one colour on one side, one colour on the other, and then it's white in the middle. Okay, so it's a different kind of cardstock, or paper as I call it. Okay, so that's the first technique. Sally says very different. That scrunching would never have thought would come out so well. Yeah, it's really simple. Anyone can do that. Don't have to have anything fancy to do that. And if you've got the other two-tone cardstock, you just need a nail file to do it. So really simple. Okay, so then the other thing that you can do is, if you like stamping, I like to use stamping to create myself a background. So, and this is a bit more, it's kind of like using your own stamps to make your own background papers, which again is quite handy to do. But again, you can mix it up. So if you like stamping, this is a really easy way of adding just a little bit of texture in a different format. So it's not physical texture, this is visual texture that we're going to add now. So I've got Pool Party, Balmy Blue and Fresh Freesia as my ink pads. And as I said, I'm using this stamp, which is a new stamp, which is coming out in May. Can't believe we've got it so early. we as demos, we managed to get these things a bit earlier than normal. But I'm quite happy with it. I'm very happy, in fact, that we've got it early. So I'm going to take the sketchy one, I kind of want the sketchy one as the big one. And then we'll take the next size down. This. There. And then get rid of that. We need some smaller ones, so let's do these. We'll need some fillers, as I call them. Now this is actually a two-step stamp, but I'm just going to do sort of one step at this point. We'll get some inners. There's big flowers, small flowers. Might need some other bits, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. See if I want to put leaves in or if I'm just going to go with the flowers. I'll just go with the flowers. Okay, so these are all solid. So we're going in with fresh freesia. And I'm starting sort of in the centre. And then moving out. And we'll go balmy blue. God, I think my ink pads are drying out. They need re-inking. Oh, that's very light. It's nice, but it's lighter than anticipated. So, keep going. And all I'm doing here is just randomly... Has that got... Oh, it's got hair on it. That's... Just thought, oh, that's weird. It's got a line on my stamp, but no, it's a hair in the ink pad. There we go. All right. Then we can do some... Actually, I'm going to add another fresh freesia. Bit down here. Bit up there. Might do a bit up there as well. Then we've got Pool Party. And we're just going to add some of these. Like so. And then I think to finish off, another balmy blue sort of in there. Like so. There we go. Yeah, it's not too bad. Then we can just maybe add a few little... What colours? More balmy blue, I think. Just add some balmy blue to the centre of the flowers. And also some fresh freesia. Centre of these. Nice. And then these, I think I'm just going to add random dots as well. Oops. Oh, didn't quite get that one. There we go, clean it off. And we will add some... I'm going to go balmy blue in the middle of the blue, even though it's the same colour. I think that's okay. Just adds a little... Just adds a little something. And if it's not quite right, do it again and make it different. Okay. So now what we've done is we've added texture by adding depth of a background. So we take this off. It's got some feel to it in the background of this card. So this one's very simple. I'm going to need to have some words actually. So where's my thanks? Thanks and so very much. Thanks so very much. Ooh. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my my circles. Now I'm going to just take a chunk out the middle of this one for my layer because this is going to be behind my white, so no one's going to notice. And then this one I'll take out of my white when I stamp it. So let's do that first. I'm thinking we're probably going to go balmy blue actually, I think, for the words. Or possibly, actually, Pool Party might stand out more. It seems to be a bit of a darker. Yeah, we'll do a bit of both. A bit of both. Okay, so Now we need thanks. You're all being very quiet there today. Are you just watching? Are you just like so engrossed? Thanks so very much. Okay, so we'll do this one. We'll do this one in thanks. Okay. Now I'm going to chop it out, leaving plenty of room for the so very much. I feel like I need to do that on the straight. Okay. I know it's a circle, it doesn't make any difference, but I know what I mean. And then I'm going to use so very much in the fresh freezer, I think. Okay. So very much. Now we can put that under there. Okay. Thanks so very much. And then maybe just a little tiny, what do we want there? Do the little tiny circles in balmy blue. Okay. 1, 2. Not perfect, but not bad. There we go. All right. I would spend more time over that normally. Okay. So now we're going to put it all together. So here's our base card. And our first layer I've taken a chunk out of, but don't panic about that. I don't normally do it because sometimes you can feel it through, but we're just going to add a big circle over the top of it anyway, so it should be fine. So that's going to go there. Okay. You can see that, right? So that's bright as it can go. Now that's better. Okay, so now we've got that there. Like so. And then this on top. Like so. And so this is now adding that depth and texture just from the stamping. We'll pop that on there, glue that to the circle that we cut out before. Now we've got a layer there as well. And then we'll pop it all up on dimensionals. Whiz through these today. Any questions, anybody? Because, you know, I'm here for questions. I only go live once a month publicly. All the rest of the time I spend inside the membership. Talking to members and chatting and making sure they're okay and answering their questions. But if you've got any questions, now's your chance. So I'm going to pop that just there, I think. Like so. And, you know, if you wanted to, you could add another pair of wellies or something like that if you wanted to on top of that, just to make it even more for a gardener. But I'm thinking I quite like that just as it is. Marcy says she loves the colour combo. Yeah, it's a really good one, this. And it's very simple. Balmy blue, pool party, fresh freesia. Basically, if you picked out 3 subtles, it's going to be a lovely combo. Or 3 regals or 3 brights, whatever. That's how Stampin' Up puts all their colour family ranges. So if you did 3 of those, you're going to get a good combo. So that's just shown you 2.5 techniques, really, because this one's only additionally adding some with a nail file. But, you know, different kinds of texture. One physical texture and one visual texture. But both with raised elements, which adds a little bit more texture as well. Hi, Julie. Oh, you've come on, jumped on, and we're about to finish, I think, pretty much. Well, no, maybe not quite, but we're nearly there. So what other ways can you add texture to your projects? You can, if you've got a fancy machine, you can add it with embossing, obviously. But this is a really great way of doing it if you don't have a fancy machine. And lots of people to be honest, don't, do they? So, you know, especially when you're getting started, you might think, oh, do I really need an embossing machine? And my answer would be probably not, but, you know, let's try some different things that you can do before you get one. Don't forget to sign up for my emails, because I do lots of different tips every week, so that's good. Another way you can do create texture without an embossing machine is literally just scoring lines on your card using your trimmer and your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. That also works. And then, as I say, you can just add a little bit of depth and texture with stamping. You can take it further and add depth and texture with design, like designing scenes where it looks like you're walking through a woodland, or you're looking through at a picture and you've got something in the background and then something in the foreground. So that's another good way of doing that. And obviously adding elements with lift, so dimensionals, just literally foam pads. That gives you dimension and that gives you texture for your foreground and background. You can do it either way. So that's my 2 cards for today. And then if you want to join the membership and find out even more, you can come along. We've got a whole class coming up on backgrounds and textures, and I've got some really funky ones to try, and lots of things with different mediums that you might be able to use, again, if you don't have a die cutting machine or you just don't want to use embossing. So I have some with and some without. Lots of different things that are going on in the membership this month. It's great fun. So it's open to join. If you want to join today, you can do that. And as I say, join my emails if you're not getting them already. Make sure that you are getting them. They should be coming from pip@queenpipcards.com. So just make sure that's not going into your spam, because sometimes it does go into your spam. And yeah, let me know what you think about this, whether this is a technique that you will try, give it a go. Rose says she loves my weekly tips. Thank you, Rose. I'm very glad you're enjoying them. So yes, maybe give this one a try. I'd love to see some pictures, things that you've tried out, or the stamping, or if you've got any of white core cardstock. It's not just Stampin' Up that does white core cardstock. There are others out there. Maybe give it a try with a bit of a nail file as well. So have fun. I would love to see what you make, either in my hub. If you're a member, come and drop it into the hub. It will go along with your monthly challenge, so you could pop that in the monthly challenge and be in for a treat with a chance to win some prizes. If you're not in my membership yet, then obviously in my Facebook group you can come along and join us there, and I know lots of you are in that already, so pop your cards in and show us what you make. Thanks ever so much for watching this month. I can't believe we've done that in less than half an hour. 2 cards in half an hour, that's not bad. Although I did pre-do the little elements on this, I admit to that. But yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. Any questions, then drop them in. Even if you think about them afterwards, put them in on this video, and I will go back and answer them, because I answer everything that people post. So thanks ever so much for watching, and I will see you again in May. Can you believe it? Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, and have a wonderful month, and I'll see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.